Good morning. Today I'd like to continue from the previous video, the Psychic and Mediumship Development introduction. As I mentioned in the introduction, it's a good idea to buy yourself a journal. The reason being that we will be doing a lot of exercises and you may find that you want to write them down. Also, as I mentioned before, it's a good idea to have the journal to put your thoughts and feelings into and any messages you receive that you don't know what to do with. So to begin today, I'd just like to say to you that when you start on the psychic or mediumship path, it's always very difficult. Although a lot of the development is extremely enjoyable and you feel that you want to carry on and do more and more and more, you will also find that a lot of things change in your life. You'll be leaving a lot of people behind, you know, people that you called friends for a long while. You may even find that your family, there are changes in the family environment as well. But all these changes are for a reason. It's very difficult to explain exactly what goes on in your mind and your body when you start to develop. But many of you that have already done this will know what I'm talking about. If you are really serious about following this path, you have to be prepared to make sacrifices. That's basically what I'm trying to say to you. And sometimes the sacrifices will be ones that you don't particularly want to make. But nevertheless, in the course of things, sometimes the procedure is not very pleasant. Right, now firstly, now we've got that out of the way, I want to talk to you about feelings you will get as your development progresses. You will find that you will be tested in all sorts of ways. Now, I'm not talking about life tests as in, do you want to proceed on this path, or do you want to get married and have children, or whatever. I'm not talking about those sort of tests. What I'm talking about is you will be experimented with in different ways of working. And the reason for this is to find out which way is good for you to work and which way you will be using in your future work. During the development stages, you will find that you will see things, you will hear things, you will smell things, you will sometimes taste things. You will find that you will pick up on other people's problems and vibrations, and this is all quite normal. Sometimes these things will come through very strongly. You'll hear definite voices, you'll see definite shapes, sometimes full-blown apparitions, although this is not quite the norm for most people. As your development progresses, these things will lessen slightly, and you will find that you will start to work in slightly different ways. You will find that sometimes that if you were hearing a lot of things in the beginning, you will suddenly that will suddenly lessen, and you will find that you will go on to a different feeling. Sometimes you'll write, sometimes you'll draw, but it doesn't mean to say that these are going to be the ways that you will be working in your later stages of development. I'm not going to say the things go away completely, because they don't always. They tend to come back as your work progresses, but they come back in a slightly different way. Because if you were getting that volume and that that degree of contact all the time, you would soon burn out. So at the beginning, it comes fast and furious. Then you find it lessens and you feel like you've lost something, but really you haven't, I can promise you, because it does come back in a lesser degree, but the actual information you get from your different senses will be a lot more precise, a lot clearer. So, that's something that you've got to come to terms with. But, as the lessons go on, you will understand what I mean, and you will begin to see the complete picture. I'd like you actually to do a few exercises. And these exercises are for your own development, your own thoughts and feelings, to see if you really are ready to develop these psychic senses, psychic feelings that you feel you have. First of all, excuse me for turning away slightly, because I've just noted down what I want to get you to write down, so I don't forget. The first one is, I need you to relate any psychic experiences that you have ever had, or any experiences that you think may have been psychic of a nature. Of a psychic nature, sorry. And what I want you to do is write down as many details on this as you can remember. How you felt at the time, what the experience was, what you thought it may be, whether you thought it was actually psychic or whether you made excuses for it. I want you to note down everything that you can remember about it. Very, very important. Secondly, I want you to ask yourself why you want to develop, how far you want to go, what it is that you're aiming for. Do you want to be a psychic or a medium for your own pleasure and your own growth? Do you want to do, say, tarot readings or palm readings or crystal ball readings for the public, for enjoyment, or perhaps for a work situation, to earn yourself some money? How far do you want to go? Do you want to just leave it at psychic development, or do you want to carry on and become a medium, perhaps work on platform in churches, or do stand-up demonstrations for members of the public? I need you to write all this down. The third thing is, do your answers to the previous two questions merit the time and dedication you have got to put in? Do they merit the sacrifices that you may have to make on the way? Ask yourself this, because if you cannot say yes to this, then maybe you should be seeking another pathway, perhaps in therapies or something like that, which may be, or healing, which may be more for you. Because to be quite honest, psychic and mediumship development doesn't happen overnight. It takes years of dedication, years of practice, years of discipline, and it takes a lot of time, effort, and a toll on your body, your resources, if you want to do any paid courses, things like that. So just actually sit down and really think about this, because it's very, very important. Right, now, in the intro, we touched briefly on intention. Let's just talk about what intention is, shall we? What's the difference between a thought and intention? A thought is something that comes into your mind either subconsciously or consciously, to do with perhaps day-to-day things. It's there, you know, as a normal process. It's a normal thing that we all have, is we have thoughts go through our head. Sometimes not very good thoughts, sometimes fantastic thoughts, but they do come from either your conscious mind or your subconscious mind, depending on the nature of the thought. An intention is a deliberate action. Okay, so when you do anything, it doesn't matter whether you're working in witchcraft or whether you're working in psychic things, whether you are doing healing, whether you are writing, drawing, whatever you do is done with an intention. If you were writing a book, the intention would be to write about your experiences, or to write about the fictional experiences of a fictional character. When you're doing psychic and mediumship work, your intention is to work with whatever powers that you connect with. That is, if you believe in a deity, then maybe you will be connecting with that deity. If you believe in having guides and things like that, then maybe you will be connecting with guides. If you believe that it is the energy of a person that passed before, you will be connecting with that energy. So when you connect, the intention is that you will be working with that connection to give a true and accurate account of what you are getting. You will not be making things up. You will not be adding anything to the account you're getting, and you will not be embroidering anything. So, to the best of your ability, you will be giving what you are receiving with the intention of helping someone and not making someone feel bad. So, you know, the intention is to work for the good. So remembering also about what we said about discipline, which we will go into further at a later date, you will be working with the intention of doing something good for someone, the intention of giving an accurate and caring reading or message, using the energies and the resources that you have at your disposal. Sorry about that, I had to think about that because the dog just sat down next to me and made my concentration wander a bit. Right, so for the time being, I want you to concentrate on what we have said in this video so far and on the exercises that I'm setting you, because another thing about development is patience. Don't try and run before you can walk. The exercises I'm setting you are for a reason. They are to make you sit and think whether this is really for you, this pathway. And they are also to help you come to terms with the fact that a lot of things that you will get will be, especially, well, in the early stages, a lot of things that you will get will be things that, you know, seem like a real muddle. They don't seem to mean anything in particular. You may get a lot of strange messages and think, well, is this imagination or is this something I'm actually getting? You will get messages that you don't know who they are for, and you will also get some very, very strange things coming through in the form of voices, sounds, pictures, symbols. So all this is part of your development and it needs to be addressed as it comes up. You also need to learn how to deal with all this, and this is the reason for the journal and for all these exercises. It's to help you learn how to deal with all these things as they come into your life and into your development. Finally, before I go, I want to ask you to do one more exercise for me, and this exercise is to research intention. Find out exactly what it does mean in the psychic field, in other fields, and make some notes in your journal and get it clear in your head exactly what intention does mean. In the next exercise, next lessons, we will be doing some work, and we will be having some discussions about various things. These videos are basically just to help you along the route. They do not take place of proper development, which is usually done in a circle with other members who are also developing and an experienced medium at the head to help you along and to explain things to you as you go. I really hope, though, that these exercises will help. I have written a book on the subject, and that is full of very useful information and a lot of exercises and explanations of why we do things, together with a load of other information that is needed when you actually have finished your development, or shall we say, got to a point in your development where you feel that you can move forward with and work with the public. We never stop learning, so your development will never end. It will carry on for as long as you want it to, and you feel able to. The book is called When Spirit Calls You Answer, and if you type it into Amazon or type my name into Amazon, you will find that in my other books. So if you're interested, it's there, and it is in paperback and ebook formats. Anyway, that's enough for today, and I will speak to you again very soon. Have a brilliant day, and we have a holiday coming up. We have Christmas coming up. So have a brilliant Christmas and New Year as well. And I will speak to you in the new year. Bye.